supercars are becoming quieter, cleaner, and terrifyingly intelligent, there is one machine that might completely rewrite what driving passion means before the decade even ends. Imagine pulling up at midnight in a car so low, so wide and so visually aggressive that people stop talking mid-sentence just to stare. Not because it's loud, not because it's trying too hard, but because it looks like something that escaped from the future. This is the 2027 BMW Z9, and if the rumors, concepts, and future direction of BMW are even remotely accurate, this may become the most controversial, grand touring supercar the company has ever created. Not an M8 replacement, not a bigger Z4. Something far more dangerous, a machine designed to challenge the entire definition of what a modern performance car should feel like. In an era dominated by software, electrification, and artificial intelligence. Because the scariest part about the BMW Z9 is that it might actually make traditional supercars feel old. Welcome back to Avengers Autos. Now, before we even talk horsepower, screens, or futuristic technology, just look at the shape of this thing in your imagination. The 2027 BMW Z9 doesn't feel like a normal sports coupe. It feels like BMW designers were locked in a secret laboratory for 5 years and told to create something that could emotionally destroy every car parked next to it. The front design alone could become one of the boldest in BMW history. Expect an evolved kidney grille that is no longer just a grille. It may function as an intelligent airflow management system packed with sensors, radar units, and adaptive cooling technology. Slim laser headlights slicing across the front fascia like blades. Massive aerodynamic channels carved into the bumper, air curtains flowing around the body with surgical precision. And somehow, despite all this aggression, the Z9 could still look elegant. That balance is what BMW has been chasing lately. Aggression without chaos, futurism without losing identity. And honestly, if BMW gets this right, the Z9 become one of the few cars where people will argue for years about whether it's beautiful or insane from the side profile. The proportions could be absolutely dramatic. Long hood, ultra-short rear deck. Muscular rear haunches, a roofline flowing like liquid metal. You can almost imagine it looking like a spaceship, disguised as a grand tour. The kind of car that feels expensive even standing still. In those wheels, BMW will probably go completely futuristic here. Maybe 22-inch lightweight aero wheels, with active flaps that open and close depending on cooling needs. And drag reduction sounds crazy today. But honestly, by 2027, that technology might become normal in high-performance luxury cars. The rear design could be even more emotional. Ultra-thin old tail lights, stretching across the back like glowing red energy beams. Aggressive diffusers, hidden active spoilers emerging automatically at speed. Quad exhausts on hybrid models. Or maybe no visible exhausts at all if BMW pushes the Z9 toward electrification. That's where things get interesting. Because the 2027 BMW Z9 become the car that divides enthusiasts completely down the middle. Half the audience will want a screaming twin-turbo V8 that shakes the ground like old-school BMW monsters. The other half will demand insane electric torque and futuristic efficiency, and BMW knows this conflict exists. Which is why the smartest prediction is that the Z9 could arrive with multiple personalities. One version may feature a high-performance hybrid setup, combining a next-generation, turbocharged inline-6 or V8 with advanced electric motors, producing somewhere around 700 to 800 horsepower. And honestly, that number no longer sounds unrealistic anymore. 0 to 60 could happen in under 3 seconds. But numbers alone are not the point anymore. What matters is how the car makes you feel. And this is where BMW has enormous pressure on its shoulders. Because modern performance cars are becoming so fast that many of them no longer feel emotional. They feel like violent computers, efficient, brutal but strangely cold. The Z9 cannot afford to feel cold. It needs drama. It needs soul. It needs that moment where you press the accelerator and your stomach tightens before your brain catches up. That moment where the steering wheel communicates every tiny texture of the road, like the car is alive underneath you. BMW used to dominate that feeling better than almost anyone. And the Z9 become their chance to prove they still remember how. Imagine driving this thing at night through an empty city. Ambient lighting flowing across the cabin, AI-assisted suspension scanning the road ahead in real time, the car lowering itself automatically as speed increases. electric motors filling torque gaps instantly, while the gasoline engine explodes with mechanical fury. At higher RPMs, that combination could feel absolutely unreal. Now step inside the cabin, because this is probably where the Z9 becomes truly futuristic. Forget traditional dashboards. By 2027, BMW will likely push toward a near-seamless digital environment. A curved panoramic display stretching across the cockpit, holographic augmented reality navigation projected onto the windshield, AI voice systems advanced enough to feel almost conversational, instead of robotic. And yes, that sounds dangerous for one reason, because luxury cars are slowly becoming smartphones on wheels. Some people will hate that, others will love it. The Z9 sit directly in the middle of that battle. But BMW knows one thing very clearly. Technology alone cannot impress buyers anymore. Everyone has giant screens now. Everyone has ambient lighting. Everyone claims to have AI. What people truly remember is atmosphere. And the Z9's cabin could become an atmosphere machine. Imagine deep crystal controls illuminated softly at night, sustainable carbon fiber mixed with handcrafted leather, metallic speaker grills glowing under hidden lighting, seats that adjust not just for comfort, but for emotional driving modes. Calm mode turning the cabin into a silent luxury lounge. Sport mode transforming the interior into something that feels almost fighter jet aggressive. That emotional transformation matters more than raw specs. Rear passenger space may not be the main priority here, but BMW will likely engineer enough practicality to keep the Z9 usable as a real grand tour. And that's important because this car probably won't compete directly against stripped-out supercars. Instead, it could target machines like the Porsche 911 Turbo SE, the Mercedes-AMG GT, and even the Aston Martin DB, 12 cars that blend luxury with terrifying performance. But the Z9 might try to push further into the future than all of them. And honestly, that could either make it legendary or extremely risky. Because the automotive world is changing faster than ever before. Governments want electrification. Buyers still crave emotion. Brands are struggling to balance heritage with technology, and somewhere inside all this chaos, BMW is trying to figure out what driving excitement should look like in 2027, and beyond the Z9 become their answer. And maybe their warning, because if this car succeeds, it could signal the end of traditional luxury performance design as we know it. Future cars may become cleaner, smarter, more connected, and more autonomous, but they also risk becoming emotionally distant. The Z9 has the opportunity to prove technology and emotion can still coexist. That matters deeply for BMW as a brand, especially after years of criticism from enthusiasts who believe modern BMWs became too digital, too heavy, or too disconnected compared to older legends. The Z9 could become the emotional reset button, a statement saying, "We still know how to build a machine people fall in love with." And let's be honest for a second. If BMW really delivers a futuristic hybrid supercoupe with dramatic styling, brutal acceleration, luxurious comfort, intelligent AI systems, and genuine driving emotion all at once, the rest of the industry is going to panic. Because suddenly, ordinary luxury cars will feel outdated overnight. That's the kind of impact this car could have, not just transportation, not just performance. A complete redefinition of presence. The scary part is that the automotive industry is reaching a moment where cars are no longer judged only by horsepower. They're judged by experience, emotion, identity, atmosphere. And the 2027 BMW Z9 could become one of the first vehicles fully designed around that philosophy. So the real question is not whether the Z9 will be fast. Of course it will be fast. The real question is whether BMW can make people feel something again, in an era where technology is slowly replacing emotion. Because if they can, the 2027 BMW Z9 not just become another luxury performance car, it may become the moment the future officially arrived. And now we want to hear from you. If BMW actually builds the Z9 like this, would you take it over a Ferrari, Porsche, or AMG? Or do you think modern, futuristic cars are becoming too digital to truly feel special anymore? Tell us in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this cinematic deep dive into the future of automotive performance, subscribe to Avengers Autos for more next-generation car reviews, concepts, and automotive documentaries that make ordinary cars feel boring.